Everybody, to this episode of the Cannabis Review. I am delighted to be joined on this show by Jazmine Moore. She's the founder and CEO of Panther Chef and a newly formed author as well, because her book just got released yesterday. How are you keeping today, Jazmine?
Oh, I am amazing. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to have you on the show now. So most people in Washington D.C. would know about you. You've got to be the premium cannabis connoisseur cooking up delights over in that territory. Can you maybe give everybody a little overview on where you came into the industry and how you kind of started Panther Chef?
Yeah, definitely. So I started Panther Chef in 2017, but I actually started cooking with cannabis years, probably like a decade before that. I had got diagnosed with Crohn's disease right after I had graduated from culinary school. And so through the process, I had dropped down to around 84 pounds. I was put on 5 medications. It was told this was supposed to be my life, right? So I got introduced to a doctor who introduced me to cannabis and just cooking with plants in general. So 13 years later, I am not on any of those pharmaceutical medications, and I exclusively use food and cannabis for happiness.
Okay, amazing. So you've had a far journey to get to where you are now. Can you maybe give everybody a little overview of some of the kind of events you guys do, kind of curated cannabis events? What is some of the best things you guys have worked on over the last 12 months?
Oh, definitely. So with our book as well, but we definitely do a lot of private events. We do a lot of catering and then private events just for an elite clientele in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I can see infused dinner parties being a huge thing when it comes to Europe legalization. Can you maybe give the audience a little overview of the best methods for cooking with cannabis? Is it oil? Is it can of butter? Is hash better than flour? What would be some of the top, let's say, 3 tips that you give to the consumer who's watching the show?
Definitely. Know your numbers. That's number one. If you want to know how to create repeatable results, you're going to have to know your numbers. That doesn't have to go into knowing the percentage of THC or CBD, but just knowing what's going to work with your endocannabinoid system. Is that 1 to 5 milligrams? Is that 5 to 10 milligrams? And then upward. Also, as well, cannabis is allergic to water. So the best way to extract and get the most out of your cannabis is in something that is fat soluble. So oils and butters, coconut oils as well. But you want something that doesn't have such a drastic smoke point that you're going to degrade your cannabis, and you're not going to get the most out of your cannabis. So look for those extra virgin olive oils, look for those coconut oils, look for the butters as well. But those are the best, and something that's fat soluble. So no vegetable oil or canola oil or anything like that to extract in.
Okay, amazing. And let's move on now to your recently book that just got released. Can you give everybody an overview of the story of creating the book, how you got it out, and some of your favorite pieces of it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm super excited. We actually just launched our pre-sale yesterday, so I'm going to share the link with your community. But it's called More Than a Cannabis Cookbook. It took about 2 years to do that or to write it. And really it demystifies, or I wanted to bend perspective away from like sugary treats, into like a more holistic approach of the plant. I have a lot of clientele who just want approachable recipes and they want to know how they can just cook for health and happiness, right? So that kind of spurred this book, More Than a Cannabis Cookbook. It has cook-offs, it has challenges, over 100 recipes as well. And it's broken into 7 parts to target the certain ailments or the common ailments that people are dealing with. So gastrointestinal, anxiety, insomnia, migraines, and how you can align like your cannabis, your terpenes, and your food so you can get the most out of it.
Okay, and can everybody expect to be able to order that worldwide from what date?
Absolutely. So we are actually going to be worldwide December 15th of this year, but we definitely need your support by clicking that link.
Okay, greenpantherchef.com. Everybody can see the link down there to be able to go and pre-order the book. It's out in December. I'd highly recommend checking it out. We're going to move on to some of the more talk about edibles in DC and nationwide in America. Who do you see as kind of some of the premium brands leading the way in like properly curated manufactured edibles?
Oh, definitely. So there are some local brands that are inside of Maryland. There is one, it's a fruit chewy. The name is drawing a blank to me right now, but it has really great quality. They're using plant sustainable products. Like they are definitely leading the way when it comes to like packaging and all of that good type of stuff. but it is more on the sweet side of things. I really do like to explore the savory. And so using like building out your plant pantry. So a lot of the items that we have are like the honeys, the hot sauces, mayonnaises as well. So you can just like use those throughout the day through like in multiple uses, and just not like one dose and it just gets repetitive and kind of old.
Okay, and do we have a Chef Jazz line of products coming around the corner now soon?
Yes, absolutely. Right now we do have two, but we are expanding it all out as a companion with the book. But you heard it first.
Okay, happy days. And what's your favorite recipe out of the book? What would you recommend if somebody was starting off with their first recipe to cook with cannabis? What is it a snack in the afternoon for watching a movie? Is it a brunch, something with eggs? What
Mhm.
would you maybe suggest somebody to dip their toe into this?
Exactly. So there's two things. I have one recipe. I've been cooking with this, or not even cooking. I've been using the raw cannabis flower, and I've had so much success with that. This drink is called Sexy on the Inside. So it has basically using raw cannabis flower. It's a lot of green goodness inside of it, but I have that at least 4 times a week, and I have just had a lot of success with that. But one of my other favorite recipes is our vegan seafood paella. I
Oh,
love.
wow.
Yeah, we're using oyster mushrooms in there. We're using a lot of like the umami flavor and the capers and tomatoes, and it's just a beautiful dish.
Okay, and dosage is a hugely important part of this. We had Mara Gordon on there last week to talk about the art of dosage, how important it is, and how long does it take you to kind of get the exact dosage right for the different consumers that are coming through your doors.
Yeah, dosage does take a long time. That took me in my beginning, in like my journey. I had a lot of trial and error around that, and so you have to ask yourself, and we break down this in the book in detail, but asking yourself 5 questions really, and primarily just knowing your percentage of your THC, knowing your carrier fat and the units of measurement is going to lead you in the right direction. But in the book, we actually give you a table so you can plug and play. And you're able to create those repeatable results. So it really comes down to like knowing those percentages, the numbers, and then a calculator. It really isn't that difficult once you know what to plug and play.
Yeah, I suppose it's about sourcing the perfect strain of flour first and foremost for you, is it? And is there a process that you go to if you're creating a snack? Is it isolating, right? This is the flour I'm going to use because it contains this profile of cannabinoids and terpenes, and I know the flavor is going to be X, Y, and Z out of this. Is
Mhm.
that kind of the process?
Absolutely. And so when I am picking or choosing a strand as well, it's like, what is my outcome? That's the first thing when I'm working with a client. How do I want to feel? As I always talk about myself when I talk, because I had a gastrointestinal issue, Crohn's disease. And so I really do look at strains or cultivars that are higher in beta carophylline, and because the reason being is because that interacts with those gut receptors as well. I look for something if I'm dealing with a little bit more pain management, something that's higher in myrcene. If I need a little bit of boost, I'll look for something like limonene as well. So I really pay attention to the terpene content. And then also, second is like the THC and CBD content.
Yeah, I think terpenes are becoming a thing with the cannabis connoisseurs in the market that they're starting to know their things and want those little bit of extra bits of information on the packaging. How are you going to see the eastern seaboard of America shaping up now that we've got New York pretty much coming to market next March? What's the anticipation for there?
We are definitely coming along. I know it's been a few years, right? We're a little bit behind the West Coast, but we are coming along. I know that there are some great, I shouldn't say this online, but great consumption lounges and some great people that are talking to politicians to push forward the legislation. I am actually in Washington, D.C. now, and I've been asked to speak on a board just so they can kind of navigate the language around how are we going to introduce cannabis to the public. So I think that it's on the horizon. Federal legalization, I'm not going to give a date on that, but it's definitely on the horizon. Some people who need to be in the room are finally starting to discuss it and being taken seriously. So yeah.
Yeah, I see consumption lounges being one of the focal points of the industry for everybody to especially tourists that are going to America, New York, Vegas, these kind of territories. I don't see any reason why people are willing to pay 10,000, let's say, dollars for bottle service, and they won't pay the exact same thing for premium bud that was grown in the hills of Nepal or whatever it is they're going to come up with. So I think, yeah, and a music curation combined with that environment and that atmosphere, I think could be as big, if not bigger, than alcohol fueled bars.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take education as well. You know, just being more than a cannabis cook, being more than just like the standard. So we can break stigmas. That's what it's all about. It's just more of acceptance and, you know, and just opening up. People just have to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's slowly marching on. That'll end up happening. I'm going to tilt into something else. Give me the top three songs that you listen to when you're in the kitchen cooking.
Ah, right. Okay. So I love this artist. He's named Alkaline. So I love a little bit of reggae. I do love my top 40, like, and then EDM as well. So I love pop music. Throw a little bit of Beyonce in there, of course. And then I love like a little bit of EDM.
Yeah, I think it's those two worlds seem to marry together so well. The cannabis industry and the music industry. I think there'll be so much more to cover in those two aspects. Yeah, I highly recommend everybody checking out the book. You go to the greenpantherchef.com website. Chef Jazz, I hope we can talk again in the near future and we'll see how the book has gone down.
Absolutely. So yeah, I will share the link, but you will see a big banner on the top of Green Panther Chef. Just smash that button and you can get all the information.
There you go. Highly recommended. To be cooking away in your own kitchen in no time.
And
Thank you very much, Chef Jazz, for joining us. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
bye guys.